The following program is rated G. It is suitable for all audiences.
Dang it, Scotsman!
Welcome to Rose War. Hello. You're probably wondering why I am here. Well, it's kind of a funny story, or stories actually. Before I became one of the most famous engineers in the world, I would run short and long distance trains on the LNER LMS joint railway known as Roseworth. Roseworth was a small branch line that runs from Roseworth to Barrow Station. Minor stops along the way. There are many engines that came and went, but there are 11 of us who made sure everything ran smooth. There was Gadwall, one of my cousins, who was usually the clumsiness of the group, but gets the job done nonetheless. Alongside my cousin, there is Mallard and Silver Fox, two A4s who pulled the Diamond Jubilee and helped me on the Dawn Easter, one of the express trains on the Roseworth Railway. And keep it up with LNR history, there's Clark, Luke, and Cook on the North. Cook on the North is the oldest engine on the railway and the strongest too, while Clodic is the maintenance engine and oversees our repairs, whereas for Luke, he is the head hunter and pulls goods trains. On the LMS side, there are two duchesses in one city, and our names are Sutherland, Hamilton, and London. Sutherland is the royal engine who pulls the royal train, and Hamilton pulls the fast trains. As for London, he does whatever needed. Right now that you know my friends, I'm going to tell you a story about the time we got another strength to run the railway. It all started back in 1935 on June 8th. It was a quiet morning, and we were ready to start the day when the yard master walked up to us.
Look, with the increase of freight and passenger traffic, we need another engine. So, I decided to buy one.
Oh joy, another LMS engine.
No, Duchess, it's not an LMS engine. To be honest, I don't know where it came from. Other than that, normal duties for the rest of you, understand?
So Gadwall, what do you think of the new engine going to be like?
I don't know. Maybe an MDR-L1 class.
Nah, doubt it. We already got one of those, and that's me.
Maybe another A4.
Absolutely not. No one wants to see a maniac on the tracks.
Rude. I'm sorry dear, but it's the truth.
While me and my friend were still talking, I noticed a small green tank engine rush towards us. Silver, you might want to move.
Why? Oh. Oof.
Sorry about that. The name's Croven, and I am looking for Fairview Terminal Station.
Well, this is it, Croven. You must be the new engine. My name is Coco the North, but you can call me O North. Less menacing and more formal. The engine you bumped into is Silver Fox. And that's Gadwall, Luke, Duchess of Sutherland and Hamilton, Mallard, and Flying Scotsman.
Hi everyone. Oh, and sorry for bumping into you.
While most of them were accepting, we barely noticed that he was from the Great Western region. But Duchess noticed and wasn't so convinced.
Do not let that thing touch my coaches, nor me in general. That's a great western crab bucket, and deserves to be in the scrap heap.
What was that all about?
Oh, she just despises LNER, SR, and GWR engines.
But aren't you a LNER engine?
Well, yes, but we knew her long before age 6.
What my brother is trying to say is that it will take some time for her to get used to you.
In the meantime, you can help train coaches and cars around the yard.
So Croven did, and to be honest, he knows how to treat coaches and trucks better than we can. When it was time for the road train to head out to Barrow, which for those who don't know is a station on the mainland close to Bickerstown, the Sutherland, Duchess was washed and polished ready to leave, while the Queen was aboard the train. Sutherland, driver, heard a strange voice coming from the piston valve.
I don't like the sound of this, Dutch. Don't worry about it. The Queen is already 10 minutes late. Let's go!
And they did. As they arrived in the main, Duchess began to hear some strange noise, and then Duchess of Sutherland piston hissed the last steam and ground to a halt.
Bother. The Queen is going to have a field day with me if I don't reach Barrow in time for her afternoon tea. That is, if we can get to Barrow at all. Leave those cars there, Croven. I need you to go and fetch Duchess. She's stuck on the main line, close to Barrow.
Right away, sir.
When Croven got there, he immediately cut the axles and began pushing the coaches.
You can't push me and my heavy coaches to Barrow.
Watch me.
Said the determined Panny tank engine, and to his surprise, the little western engine pushed the royal train all the way to Barrow.
Wow, maybe I mistook you by a long shot, Proven. Thank you for helping me.
That's alright, Your Grace, as long as we put this behind and do a do-over.
And that, my friend, was that.
The Duchess of Rain. The rain had been stronger than usual on the Roseworth Railway. All of us had to be careful as the rails were slippery and wet. Part of the line flooded, causing most of our passengers and freight trains to run late. The passengers did not do this at all.
I'm 15 minutes late.
So, I said rudely to them,
It's not fair. They should appreciate that we're still running.
Ungrateful humans.
added Silver Fox,
Well, serves them right for how they treat us.
sneered Sutherland.
Quit your complaining. It is quite nice. The passenger always looks so excited when I enter the station.
Is that because they think you're a passenger train?
But the attention is still nice.
Said Macintosh. The Duchess of Hamilton hated rain most of all. The passengers would look so angry at her. She would enter the station, and because the trains weren't running to their usual schedule, the coaches would often be packed and heavy. During the journey to Barrow, the passengers would complain even further.
Oh, this is just ridiculous. This coach smells like a dog. This would never happen on Sodor.
They chimed. On the way back, Hamilton thought she could teach a passenger a lesson for complaining. She thought about stopping on the main line, but then realised that is illegal, and stupid to stop other trains who depend on the main line.
Oh, I know.
She said, as they got closer to Shedfield. Instead of slowing down, Hamilton began to pick up speed. "Slow down," said her driver.
Nope, I will not.
Hamilton's driver tried to put the brakes on, but Hamilton was going too fast. Her brake blocks skidded through the station. "Jesus Christ!" screamed the passengers as they covered their ears in agony. At last, Hamilton came to a stop outside the station.
Well, how do you like that? Oh, that's just great, Duchess. You ruined your brake blocks. Now the passengers will have to wait even longer for a replacement train.
Duchess of Hamilton was pleased. A few minutes later, the passengers went and complained to the yard manager, who ended up refunding their money. At the shed, the yard manager came to rant and rave at Hamilton.
I really can't believe you, Duchess. Not only do I have to refund the money to the passengers for what you've done, but you've also damaged your brake blocks during that stunt that you pulled. Might as well send you to Promio Works. When you're done, you'll be on freight traffic for a whole 3 weeks.
Duchess of Hamilton didn't mind it at all, and was happy not to be on passenger duties for a whole 3 weeks. And that, my friends, was that.
I've been invited to the Rosewood Valley Railway.
Sweet mercy on Presley! Who was that?
I swear I've seen that colour scheme before.
Boss of the North. As I stated before, our railway was hosting a special convention starring the Solar System Railway. A railway close to London with all sorts of locomotives is named after the planets. When Cock of the North and Gadwall arrived at Fairview, they were stunned to see a green German-based tender engine at platform 7.
Listen here, pal. I don't know how they run things on the main line, but on this stretch of track, you don't just run through stations like a galloping sausage.
Sorry about that, mate. Please forgive me. I was just so excited to be here. The name's Sunstar, the famous engine on the Solar System Railway known for pulling the iconic Sunstar Limited.
I knew it. I knew I saw you from somewhere. Welcome, Mr. Sunstar. My name is Coco the North.
Why, thank you, Mr. Coco... Oh, the north of...
Please, sir. Call me O'North.
Righty then, Old North. Say, where can I leave my coaches?
Leave that to Luke, our head shunter.
Oh North? I hope you know that, Luke is at Sharp Sutton Coal Depot, helping Croven out of a pickle.
Well then, leave it at platform 7. When Luke gets around to doing it, he can do it. Come on, Mr. Sunstar. I'll show you around Roseworth.
That'll be lovely. Thank you.
But, oh North, I hope you know that the Spirit Rise is supposed to be on that platform. Never mind.
Cock of the North showed Sunstar all the best views on the Roseworth Railway, but when it came to time to sleep, problems started to rise quickly.
Well, welcome, Starshine. Sadly, there's no room in the shed, but the other empty berths are either dirty or owned by Network Rail.
That certainly won't do for our guest. London, give up your berth for our guest.
But where I will sleep.
I don't know. The works?
Uh-oh.
Sadly, City of London reluctantly agreed. The rest of us were shocked.
What gives you the right to kick my brother out of our sheds?
Every right. And speaking of which, you all should leave.
You're kidding, right?
You can't kick us out of our own shed.
No, I'm serious. Leave.
The rest of us were too tired to argue all night, so we left and had to try to find new places to sleep for the night. The two LMS classes decided to stay with London at the works, along with Claudette and Luke, while Croven stayed at Sheriff Sutton Coal Depot, while me, Gadwall, Mallard and Silver Fox all spent the night at a different station. By morning we were all tired and wanted to pay back Cock of the North and Sunstar, but Sunstar, feeling guilty for what O'North did, and apologised.
I do feel sorry for what Old North did to you all, and apologize on behalf of him.
Oh, don't worry. We all want to hear an apology.
You mean Cock of the North?
Oh, my bad.
Leave that to me. I might have a plan.
Sunstar's plans were to trick Cock of the North to apologise with a challenge.
The strongest race competition?
You're on.
It's raced all the way up to Sedfield, and if you lose, you must apologize to your friends.
So Cock of the North coupled up some coaches and raced up to Shedfield. Unfortunately, we didn't realise that the bridge close to Red Code was under repairs, and Cock of the North was speeding the track with 16 heavy coaches down the track. Before we had time to warn him, it was too late. Me, Gadwall and Sunstar all went to see if Cock of the North was alright, and thankfully he was. Claudette arrived with the breakdown train, and the rest hauled Cock of the North back up the tracks.
I'm sorry for the way I acted earlier that night. It was wrong of me to treat you all like common filth.
Apologies except Cock of the North.
Wow, your plan worked, even without doing the task at hand.
And that, my friends, was that. East Mallard. If I haven't mentioned before, my favourite train to pull on the Roseworth Railway was the Express, which is also known as the Downeaster. This train starts from Fairview Terminal Station to Barrow-in-Furness, with a stop at Shedfield and Red Code in tow. The train consists of 5 heavy coaches, which use mainly every day. But when summer comes, I have 4 more coaches. I call the reserve cars these coaches, we use for holidays and summer. But when they are not being used, they are usually on the local with my cousin Mallard. One morning, my friends were getting ready to start their day. All except me, however.
Come on, Scotty. You're going to be late for your Press's Express.
I can't. My water tender is getting cleaned.
Why did you get it cleaned out last night?
Well, some of us were out cleaning the mess that O North made last week.
Hey, don't you put me back in the blame. I apologised, didn't I?
Well, don't get upset when someone else takes it down Easter today.
Who?
Oh, I don't know, Mallard. He pulled it before.
Maybe a long time ago. No offence, Mallard, but the Downeaster has changed since 1934.
Oh, poppycock Scotsman. You can do it, Mallard, just me.
So as Croven shunted in my coaches onto the platform 3, the yard manager was worried.
Where is Scotsman? He's going to be late.
He's getting his water tender cleaned out and won't be able to make it for his first train of the day.
Now? Yes, sir, but I thought Mallard could do it since he's pulled the express before. That's a wonderful idea.
Are you sure, sir?
Yes, I'm sure. Besides, I was planning to cancel the local anyways and have you do goods runs. But I can get Scotsman to do it.
If you're confident in me, sir, I will do it.
At first, Mallard felt nervous, but after praises from the passengers, he began to enjoy it.
Ooh, stop, Mallard. Better than Scotsman.
Meanwhile, as I arrived at Fairview, I was most annoyed to hear that we would be pulling trucks. Bother, my first job was to collect freight from the mainline connection as I stop at Curland for one of the mainline engine's goods connections. Mallard whizzed by with my train.
Bye, Scotsman. Bye, Scotsman. London North Eastern Railway.
But that's my train and my lines. Later that day, I was at Barrow Coal Depot, getting some coal for the other engines.
That isn't Scotsman, is it? That's the last time you'll ever see me here, and you trucks better behave.
That was the biggest mistake in my life. The next thing I knew, they slipped their brakes on so hard that my tender coupling snapped. It didn't take long for the workers to fix, but by then I had had enough. Leave those cars there! I am not taking them anywhere! So I went back to the shed cross. Later that night, everyone was talking about Mallard and the Downeaster. I was not happy at all. Well, since you all think Mallard is so good at pulling the express, then watch me tomorrow. I will.
They'll be seeing more of Mallard, Scotsman. You hadn't even done half your jobs today. As punishment for not doing half your jobs, I want you to take the nighttime local freight.
Absolutely not, sir. I refuse to couple to trucks at this time.
Well, I guess Mallard's gonna be the new face of the express.
It's your fault, Mallard.
My fault? How?
I don't know. It just is.
You know, Scotsman, I realized something. The hardly reason why you're never pulling nighttime local or nighttime trains at all is because you're not fast and stronger than us, A4s, and especially the people love to see a modern bird fly out of the station. If you want to prove to me that you are a bit faster and that the people do love you, I'd take the nighttime local.
If that's what they say, then okay then. I'll prove you wrong. And I did. The sad thing was, I just realised I was being tricked. By the time I got back, it was very early in the morning. See? I told you I could do it.
You only did what you were told, Scotsman. Good for you. You can go back to pulling the express, and if you promise to get your water tender cleaned out when you need to, you can keep pulling the express.
Thank you, sir. And that, my friends, was that.
Good afternoon, Orville. Brought these supplies and new engines that your controller wanted.
Thank you, Brandon.
I am still baffled, though. Why does your controller want these engines? Do you know how hard it is to find them on the other railway?
I'm not quite sure about the red LMS loco, but the black tank engine's being restored and is going to run at the harbour.
Oh, speak of that engine, you might want to keep an eye on him.
Oh? Why is that?
Well, he wasn't talking when I picked him up at Didcot. Plus, I overheard the workmen saying it was a miracle that someone purchased him with a record like that.
Thank you for letting me know.
sailing Sutherland.
My friends and I woke up one morning to find Orville on the turnpike.
Where were you, Orville?
I took all my goods on the one train bound for London, after taking those 2 engines from Redcoat to the works.
Who are those engines over there anyways? Glad you asked, Claudette.
Just then, the yard manager came up to us.
The red LMS Princess Royal class locomotive is named Princess Louise, and she's going to be running the newly christened Fairview Flyer, a special service running from Lion Beach to Fairview. The black tank engine is going to be running Lower Fairview Harbor, by the way.
Harbor? Since when did we ever have a harbor?
How do you think we get our goods?
I always thought we got the goods from the lorries.
Oh, come on, you lot. You've been here longer than I have, and you've never heard of Lower Fairview Harbor?
Anyways, until the new engine is fully restored, Sutherland, I want you to change your head code from Royal Train to Express Goods for now. You're joking, right? Come on, Sutherland. Oh, botheration.
So Duchess of Sutherland headed down to Lower Fairview Harbour. Before she could make it to their busy place, she was put on a siding.
What is this? I believe it's called a siding. I know what it is. I mean, why am I in it?
Sutherland's question was soon answered, as a diesel rail car pulled into Lower Fairview Halt.
Who are you? I'm Eric. And I'm Troy. Running shuttle services between Fairview Halt to Fairview Terminal Station. Anyways, wish to stay in chat, Sutherland, but we gotta get going. See ya! What funny little things! Come on, Sutherland, we gotta go meet the harbor master. He's waiting for us.
As Sutherland arrived at the entrance to the harbour master was there to greet them.
I wish to stay in chat, but we're really backed up here. I'm going to need you to shunt in and out of the harbor. Shunt? I would rather pull goods trains if I have to be here against my will.
The harbour master pondered for a moment, and stopped City of London with a heavy goods train.
Our sister is being pretty much difficult at this moment, London. I'm gonna have you shunt for a bit here and out of the yards while your sister pulls that goods train. When Groven gets back, you can go back to pulling heavy goods trains.
Okay.
When the harbour master left, City of London told Sutherland where the trucks needed to be.
The empty coal cars need to head to Barrow coal depots so they can be filled with coal for the 8 o'clock ship. Those vans must head Farrow something yard, and the containers must red code by noon for Sunder's Express goods.
Yeah, I know where those trucks are going to be.
So Sutherland coupled up to the trucks and headed off. But by then she had forgotten where the trucks were headed and mixed up the order, leaving the empty coal trucks at Red Code, the vans at Barrow Coal Depot, and the container at Fairview. When she got back at the harbour was already frantic and furious.
Done and finally done. What else do you need me to do, Mr. Harbour Master? Duchess of Sutherland. Why were half the orders mixed up just 5 minutes ago? What are you talking about? Oh, for one thing, the yards at London said that they got empty coal cars instead of Xboxes and video games. The yards at the big station said that they got Xboxes instead of fruit, and the Barrow Coal Depot is missing their coal for the ship. I sent Orville and Octave from the main line to fix up this mix-up, but I really do stress that you stay here and shunt. Over my cold, dead boiler.
The harbour master was too busy to deal with Sutherland, so he sent her to pick up some sand from Fairview Terminal yards. He advised her to take care and asked how to handle sand trucks, but Sutherland refused. She bumped the trucks hard. The trucks were furious and wanted to pay Duchess back. As Duchess of Sutherland saw the harbour in sight, she began to slow down, but the trucks pushed her down the hill, and when they saw the pier, it was already too late.
Are you okay, Sutherland?
I think so. Oh, I should have listened to you, sir. Maybe shunting was a better option for me if I had to work here.
See that you came to your senses, Duchess. Well, once you're put back onto the tracks, there are some trucks waiting for you to be shunted.
Once Sutherland was put back on the track, she shunted every car and truck to their proper pier, but to this day, her stubborn personality still shows, and that, my friends, was that. Is home to one of the ever more infamous railways known as the Roseworth, with engines big and small, unique in all, working hard to serve the people and businesses who depend on us. There are stations to bring passengers to where they need to be. There are also harbours, fishing villages and coastal points, bringing fish and containers for business and stores with a lot of items. There is a quarry delivering station stones to building supplies for construction workers and ships. There are also forests delivering logs from the earth. But the one thing that stands out from all the other trains out on the main line is us steam engines and diesel engines working together. High-speed Gadwall. The Roseworth Railway has many fast engines, like me and my cousin Gadwall, Mallard and Silver Fox. We pull heavy fast express trains that go beyond Shedfield to a station called Barrow-in-Furness, or Barrow for short. Barrow is just like Redcode, except Barrow is a transfer station for all mainline engines like Philippa, also known as Pip and Emma. Pip and Emma are fast high-speed diesel engines who don't need turntables and go all the way round to London. One afternoon, Gadwall arrived late at Barrow with the local express.
Oh great, the yard manager's going to have a field day with me when I get back.
I don't think it's just the yard manager. It looks like the passengers are angry with us too. Come on, Paul, let's calm them down.
While Gadwall's driver and fireman went to calm down the passengers, Gadwall noticed that Pip and Emma were pulling in on the track next to him. Now Gadwall doesn't normally see them and was surprised to see them without their usual coaches.
Hello, Gadwall.
Hello, Emma. Or is it Pip?
It's me, Pip.
Oh wait, what happened to your regular coaches?
Oh, they were sent to the works to get AC units fitted into them.
AC? What's the point of that for coaches?
Well, for starters, they keep the passengers cool during the journey to London. And besides, more people are riding the trains just to relax and keep cool during the summer.
Oh, please. The coaches on the Roseworth Railway don't need AC fitted in them. Besides, back in my day, AC was never a thing on long-distance trains, 'cause steam engines would get there in record time.
Don't forget, times are changing, Gadwall.
I could do a long-distance run from here to London without AC feeding in my coaches.
Oh, please! Come on, Pip, that's our guard. Let's go.
So, the two HST engines left Gadwall and his cocky self at the station. Later that night, Gadwall was complaining to the others about what Pip and Emma had said.
Then they go and talk about how their coaches are getting AC units fit in them.
Oh, speaking of which, I have some news from the yard manager. Starting tomorrow, most of our coaches will be in the works getting fitted for AC and Wi-Fi.
That's great.
No, it isn't. Back in the good old days, if passengers were too hot, they would just pull down the windows.
Well, don't forget, Gadwall, it's dangerous to do that nowadays.
And don't forget, times are
Say that thing one more time, and you'll be in the harbor for the rest of the week.
Plus, we were happy that the LNER engines don't do long-distance trains anymore.
It's nice to take a break.
Besides, don't you like the extra rest?
Ugh, I can't be bothered with you lot.
Okay, Gadwall, listen. Even if you were to pull a long distance train, you wouldn't even make it that far without a water tower.
Oh, you really want to prove it. Scotsman, you are taking the local while I take the Downeaster all the way to London.
Wait, what? But before I could retaliate, Gadwall went soundly to sleep. Early that morning, Gadwall woke up and coupled up to the express and raced up and down the line to Barrow. But when Gadwall arrived at Barrow...
The driver, how long is it until we leave? 15 minutes. Why? All we need to do is head back to Fairview.
Oh, I don't think that's the plan.
What do you mean, the plan?
I mean, we are heading to London.
But before the driver could talk, the guard blew his whistle and Downeaster left for London. The journey was okay, but once Gadwall passed Red Code and went into the tunnel, the train was out on the main line, but there was trouble once they had passed Crossroad Junction.
Hey Phil, look at the water glass.
Gadwall's driver looked and noticed that the water level was near the end of running out.
Gadwall, we need to stop now.
Absolutely not. I've made it too far to... That's torn it.
Suddenly Gadwall felt weak and couldn't go any further. He soon was put in a siding and his fire was dropped.
Oh great. Just great.
He said. The driver and fireman left to get help, leaving Gadwall and his passengers stranded in the blistering hot sun. The passengers started to complain. The yard manager of the Roseworth Railway and the director of Network Rail heard of the incident. They were most annoyed. They sent Pip and Emma and Shane to help. The HST twins took the passengers back to Fairview, while Shane takes Gadwall back to the works. When they got back, the yard manager was furious with Gadwall.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Thank goodness the passengers aren't suing us for this. While you're here, maybe it'll give you time to think of what it means to let go of the past and adapt to the future.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
I think Gadwall learned his lesson, don't you? And that, my friends, was that. Is home to one of the ever more infamous railways known as the Roseworth, with engines big and small, unique in all. Working hard to serve the people and businesses who depend on us. There are stations to bring passengers to where they need to be. There are also harbours, fishing villages and coastal points, bringing fish and containers for business and stores with a lot of items. There is a quarry delivering slate and stones to building supplies for construction workers and ships. There are also forests delivering logs from the earth. But the one thing that stands out from all the other trains out on the main line is us steam engines and diesel engines working together. Railway Etiquette Part 1. It had been about 2 weeks since the new engines had arrived. Claudette and the Premier Worksmen were overseeing the final touches to the new addition on our railway. Once they were fully restored, Princess Louise started pulling the Fairview Flyer from the big station to Lion Beach, while the black tank engine, who dubbed himself as Ivert, was the dockside steam engine for Lower Fairview Harbour. Sometimes he takes trains from the harbour to Fairview shunting yards to save City of London time instead of going all the way back to the docks. One particular evening, Ivett was at the start of a storm. Due to the track being slippery down the hill, both Ivett and his driver agreed to stay at Fairview and head down to the docks early the next morning. While most of us engines were out doing our jobs, Croven, Claudette, Luke, Princess Louise, Macintosh and Cook of the North were at the sheds.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Ivett.
I'm gonna guess that it's too dangerous for you to go down the hill to the harbor.
Yep, but I get to spend the night with you guys.
That's awesome.
Wow, the rain's coming down a little bit harder than usual. Why don't we tell a story?
We'll be glad Scotsman isn't here to tell us a story.
What's wrong when Flying Scotsman tells a story?
Now here is a story about how I was built.
Yikes! Why don't you tell us one, McIntosh? What, me? No, I'm no good for telling stories.
Come on, please.
Alright, fine.
And this was the story. The year 1929, before the town of Fairview had laid any tracks, the railway never ran any standard gauge engines. Instead, they used narrow gauge trains to haul the logs from the tree to the coal in the mines. There were two engines that lived there. One was named Evelyn and the other Carter. Evelyn carried logs while Carter did the hauling from the mines. Now Carter was known to be a reckless engine, always damaging cars either by bumping them too hard or pushing them off the transfer tracks. This would usually get on Evelyn's nerves, and she would always reply back saying,
"Stop that reckless driving, this is a place of calm and peace."
All I want to do is get the job done quicker so I could get back to the sheds.
As I said, this always got on Evelyn's nerves. Back before Red Code was built, the main terminus station was Curlan, where the narrow gauge met up with the standard gauge engines. Macintosh back then was known as Carbrooks, and when he saw Evelyn mumbling to herself, he knew there was a problem between the engines.
Hey, what be the problem, Evelyn?
Ikeita, he always being so reckless. I wish there was a way to get through him.
Tell him a story about your brother. You know that's how you got Scotsman back to line.
Good thinking, Carbrooks.
That evening, Evelyn told him the story.
A long time ago, the Roseworth Railway had two greatest, one named James and the other was me. My brother was just like you, but worse.
How worse?
Ever wonder why we don't pull coaches? James was reckless and drew at 16 coaches, all full of passengers. 30 people died while 50 had severe injuries. After that, the manager had sent James to back of the sheds, where there he stayed. Most of his parts were used to repair me and maybe built you.
Carter to his cooling system. After that, Carter behaved better than he was before. When the 1930s hit, there was a problem. The railway was running downhill so much they had to sell amongst everything to the LNER and LMS standard gauge railway.
So what happened to the little engines? Ah, that's a story for another time. The storm's clearing up.
Come on, tell us the rest.
Yeah.
I wish I could, lads, but I gotta head over to Vicarstown to collect the goods train bound from here from the island of Sodor.
That, my friends, is to be continued. Well, he got one thing right, Ivor is quiet. But please explain to me, why on earth did Brandon keep saying, keep a watchful eye on him?
Be quite honest with you, Scotsman. That old coot has a conspiracy about everyone and everything. All he said was that he had a record for something.
Typical. I'm seeing Shane at Red Cove for the 9 o'clock passenger train. I can ask him to send a message to him.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Scotsman.
Oh, hey. Good morning, you two.
Morning, Macintosh.
Morning, Macintosh.
You two aren't spying on Ivat again, are you?
What do you think?
Anyways, Orville, your train is ready for you at Fairview Shunting Yards. Get going if you want to make it on time.
Thank you, Macintosh.
Scotsman, the new and the wee engines already know.
You don't mean...
Hi, I do.
You and me both swore not to speak of that story.
Oh, I know.
When they start bugging you, don't bring me into this.
Some support you are.
I don't care.
Previously on the Roseworth Railway.
Yikes. Why don't you tell us one, McIntosh? What, me? No, I'm no good for telling stories.
Come on, please!
Alright, fine.
When the 1930s hit, there was a problem. The railway was running downhill so much they had to sell amongst everything to the LNER and LMS standard gauge railway.
So what happened to the little engines? Ah, that's a story for another time. The storm's clearing up.
Come on, tell us the rest.
Yeah.
I wish I could, lads, but I gotta head over to Vicarstown to collect the goods train bound from here from the island of Sodor.
The mainland is home to one of the ever more infamous railways known as the Roseworth, with engines big and small, unique in all. Working hard to serve the people and businesses who depend on us. There are stations to bring passengers to where they need to be. There are also harbours, fishing villages and coastal points, bringing fish and containers for business and stores with a lot of items. There is a quarry delivering slate and stones to building supplies for construction workers and ships. There are also forests delivering logs from the earth. But the one thing that stands out from all the other trains out on the main line is us steam engines and diesel engines working together.
Lost and Found, Part 2 of Part 1. Ever since Macintosh told Claudette Cock of the North, Luke, Croven, Princess Louise, and Ivert the story of the narrow gauge railway, they would not stop talking about, much to the rest of us' dismay.
Will you guys stop talking about that story? Most of us have an early day. Indeed. Just because you shunt here doesn't mean you can keep the rest of us big engines up.
Whoops. Sorry about that, everyone. We can't get this story out of our head. It's just bugging us. It was an interesting story after all.
Speaking of which, where is Macintosh anyways?
He was sleeping at Centre Fairview Quarry.
Something about the story he told was the reason for his absence.
Should we go to the quarry and ask him? Oh, I say we wait till he gets to Fairview Terminal Station.
And that's what they did. Cock of the North, Claudette, Luke and Ivert showed up unexpectedly when I and Macintosh were talking.
Hey, Macintosh! I was wondering if you could...
Absolutely not. I got a freight train that's due up now. I can't stay to talk. You're gonna have to wait till I tell you the rest of the story, or sometimes when it storms.
And with that, the Caledonian engine left.
Oh, come on! Drats! There goes the chances of us learning the rest of that story. Say, Flying Scotsman, have you heard the story of what McIntosh was talking about?
Oh, would you look at the time? I'm late with the Downeaster. Toodles.
He knows something, doesn't he?
I think he does. Is that another steam engine?
Funny. I never heard that one before.
But sure enough it was. Unfortunately, the engine wasn't LNER, LMS, Caledonian Railway, GWR, nor BR design. Instead, it was from a railway unlike any of them had seen before.
Ah, engines. This is Theodore. Theodore will be running log trains from the Canaveral Railway up north, for people who need them down here at Fairview Terminal Station. Hey, railway, where's that? Oh, it's near Roseworth Station. You know what? I want you guys to go. Show Theodore and for yourselves where it is.
So the engines left and headed up to the Canaveral Railway. On the journey, Theodore told the others about himself, and that he was a Southern Railway engine who enjoyed peace and quiet, and the others ended up telling him about the Macintosh story. Theodore trailed off as he noticed tracks next to the big standard gauge that were much too small, and he also noticed steam in the distance rush towards him.
Oh,
oh my. Are you okay?
I'm okay, dear. Just off the rails, that's all. I'm more concerned about your friend here.
Oh, don't worry about me. It's just my front wheels, that's all. Evelyn, what the heck? You're supposed to come back to Kamloo 6 minutes ago. And all you're doing is just playing cars and trucks with these big engines. Who the heck are you?
Carter, don't be rude.
While the two small engines were talking, the big locomotives started to realise who they were.
Wait, are you Evelyn and Carter from Macintosh's story?
Who?
I don't think that was the name he went by. I think it was Credence. I think it was Candace. Don't think so. I think it was Carl. No, you guys, you're all wrong. It's Carl Brooks. So there you all are. Hello, old friends. How are you still here? We were told after the Great Depression hit, you sold everything to the lner and enormous standard gauge railway. True, but we already sold part of our railway, making us privately owned.
What Carter's trying to say is that we sold the line that ran from what is now known as Fairview to Sheffield and moved from the Worldsworth Railway to the Connaught Railway. The reason why you never knew where we were was that we didn't start operating until the year after the Great Depression hit.
It's nice to know that your guys are back in service. I'm sorry for not telling you guys the rest of the story.
Indeed they did, and that, my friends, was that.
Oh, you got jokes now.
We'll be right back after these messages. Come here, you little rat.